Hey everybody, it's MyJoe Jr. Continuing the trend of trying to cover all of the new DLC weapons as they come out or when I happen to earn them, today we will cover all aspects and stats of the much overdue Vendetta Sniper Rifle. Just to sum up the weapon, the Vendetta is introduced as the fastest firing sniper rifle in Black Ops 4, with a fire rate that can even compete with fully auto weapons in the other classes. To start off with the stats, the Vendetta sports the lowest damage in the sniper class, netting a 3-shot kill at any range. However, the most important part to take note of is the Vendetta's ability to get an instant kill with a single headshot at any range, making it incredibly lethal considering its mobility and versatility. Outfitting a suppressor onto the Vendetta also doesn't have any effect on damage nor range, but instead it does decrease bullet travel speed slightly instead, but experimenting with the attachment yourself is the best option to go here, as it really is just a marginal change in the end. Also, to complement its damage nicely, the rate of fire on the Vendetta is extremely high for a semi-auto rifle, sitting at around 470 RPM, which places it as the fastest semi-auto in the game aside from the Strife. Thus, with such a high rate of fire, low recoil, and lethal damage, this makes the Vendetta incredibly powerful, often putting down your opposition before they even had a chance to react, regardless of whatever range they're in. As dispatching opponents at long range is made easy due to the sniper-like properties, while if you get a little too close, the hipfire surprisingly works wonders due to the incredibly small spread and the chance of random headshots granting an occasional effortless kill. As for the other basic handling stats of the Vendetta, it can aim down sights in a swift 300 milliseconds, which is more akin to that of assault rifles rather than snipers. However, you can bump this up a little bit by equipping Quick Draw, which speeds up ADS time to just around 265 milliseconds. But in the end, this isn't very necessary considering that you'll be playing a much more slower role than usual. Moving on to the mag cap of the Vendetta, which just sits at a lofty 20 rounds, which is typically sufficient based off the damage output of the weapon. Although, should you need, this can be further improved via extended mag, which just adds an extra 10 shots per mag. And to complete a reload here, this will take roughly 1.8 seconds, which is decent enough for a slower base combat role. We can also take a brief look at the Bipod Operator mod, which will grant accelerated fully automatic firing only when prone. This rate of fire boost is very noticeable at 530 RPM, which will increase damage output immensely at the cost of mobility. Thus, while this covers a very niche role, the trade-offs between output, costs, and mobility are simply too much here, so it's very hard to recommend the use of this mod. Although the only practical use I can think of here is for use in drop shotting, but even then this often feels to be too cumbersome to switch from semi to fully auto fire in dire situations. The last important piece to note for stats is the fact that the Vendetta lacks any form of aim assist, just like the other snipers in the game. What this means is that the Vendetta has a rather large skill gap to use efficiently against experienced opponents that may strafe and stay mobile. For this reason, practice is essential to help ensure that your shots land on target quick and accurately, while also going for those precise headshots. With the stats thoroughly covered, let's move on to our build for the Vendetta. This particular build will focus on a versatile loadout that sets up a balanced compromise between all ranges. Starting off with the Vendetta, we outfit the weapon with a holographic sight, which is the perfect amount of zoom to hit long-range shots, while also making do with close-range encounters. Although the dual zoom is also a reasonable choice, but it is personally off-putting since it engages the slower paced sniper sensitivity upon aiming down sights. As for the other attachments, using stock is beneficial in becoming a harder target to hit through strafing should you miss a couple shots, foregrip to essentially eliminate recoil down to 0 for easy spam fire, and suppressor to ensure that your spam fire doesn't draw too much attention to you. As for perks, Scavenger goes a long way in this build since burning through ammo through spam fire will be extremely common throughout the course of a match. Gung Ho is a useful choice by removing sprint out time to essentially gain an advantage in close range fights, or subbing out for Stalker is also a very good idea, as it can be useful to have that additional mobility in the longer range gunfights. Lastly, we close out with Dead Silence for the opportunity to catch the opposition off guard for flanks and quick headshots. With that, this covers all of the Vendetta weapon guide. The most important aspects to stress out with this weapon is patience and practice, as I would actually consider this weapon to be one of the most strongest weapons in the entire game, but unfortunately its only flaw is its lack of aim assist. Thus, while the weapon may feel incredibly awkward at first, persistence is what pays off here. So if you enjoyed and found this helpful, commenting, and sharing is always very much appreciated. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and until the next video.